Hello, darlings. Gosh, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. A few minutes late. Look at that. It's been a bit of a mad one, but a very warm welcome to Wednesday. Wednesday Night Live with me, Boaty. And guess what? I'm going to be here for the next 58 minutes of, well, God only knows what, actually, after last night. I'm not going to predict what's going to happen tonight. But it's going to be a nice time that we get to share together. Tomorrow's going to be the mad one. Tomorrow we're going to be all vertical and anything goes. But tonight it's going to be relatively. Oh God, I need a drink. It's been a hell of a night. How are you, darlings? How has your day been? Do tell me all about it. And let's quickly whiz through and see who we've got. Jimmy Quinn, good evening. Smelly Hole, hello. Lord Stiff Upper Lip. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5. And Karen. Good evening, Karen. Lovely to have you with us again. Um, John Stoodley. Hello, John. Of course you are. Da, da, da. Yeah, well, it would be. It would be, John. Gosh, I've been thinking about you today, mate. Andrew is here. Ivor Spotty. A very good evening, Boaty, and everyone in the chat. Skick is here. Good evening, Skick. Jolly good. Oh, Trace is here as well. Fantastic. Trace, the Greenwood. Evening, John. That's it. I've been watching the recent live stream. Sorry to hear things aren't good. Have they given you a treatment plan and prognosis? Yeah, well. Oh, Jim's here as well, James Ray. Evening, Reverend. I am jolly. And evening to all in the chat. Sean is here as well. Oh, good old Sean. Another night, another show. Indeed, Sean. I've hit the wall of tiredness tonight, darlings. Now, as you know, normally have the weekend, get through the weekend, and then I have Mad Monday, driving to the yard, long live stream on Monday night. And then on Tuesday, I have a free day. I have a day where I tell myself, get up when you want, have lunch whenever you want. And Tuesday, I have nothing to do other than the only jobs I have to do is I have to get the daily diary uploaded. I have to film that day's daily diary and I have to go to work. And that's all that I've got to do. The rest of the day, I can do nothing. But of course, that didn't happen again this week, did it? Because Tuesday was the second yard day and an absolutely mad one. So I thought today might be the nothing day, and that's turned out not to be so for God knows why. But for some reason, my body decided that it didn't want to lie in this morning. It wanted to get up at 9 o'clock, and I told it was being an arse. And it wouldn't have it. It wouldn't let me do snoozes. It just said, no, get up, make coffee, have a slice of toast. My body had forgotten that I actually ran out of bread. So no breakfast this morning. I only have one slice of lavishly buttered toast, but I do enjoy it. And I didn't get that this morning. It was nil by mouth apart from coffee and juice, obviously. And then I had to go into town this afternoon. But I've been all right. I've been all right until tonight. I don't drink at work, as you know, or it's a very rare occurrence. But it's Ram's wedding anniversary. 29 years he's been married. I mean, he barely looks 29 years old, but he's been married for 29 years. So we had a little drink together. I had a small glass of our finest wine. I mean, you know, if you're going to drink free drink from the restaurant, you're going to have the good stuff, aren't you? And as soon as that went down the little red lane, bang, it hit me. It hit me. And that came at the end of service as well. And I've been carried along on a crest of adrenaline tonight because we were busy and we couldn't get any staff in. It was just me and Jyoti. So yeah, end of service, glass of wine, and I've been struggling to keep my bloody eyes open. Honestly, absolutely mad. But I'll tell you what, let's have a little drinky. That'll help, won't it? That will help. Now then, good news on the wine front. Now, You'll be interested in this. This has been my cheap splosh of choice of late. Sainsbury's Suave, right? Terrible, pretty awful plonk. 11% ABV. And this was, well, it was £4.85 and then it became £5. Well, it's gone up, darlings, to £5.50, if you please. £5.50 for a bottle of this. Now, when I popped to Sainsbury's tonight, I noticed that they had their buy 6 bottles, get 25% off thing. They do it quite regularly. And so I started doing some rapid mental calculation. I like a bit of rapid mental calculation, darlings. And I was thinking, right, so if one of the nice ones is on offer and then there's 25% off, there's a chance that I could get a nice bottle for less than my awful splosh. So I went in armed with this knowledge and ready to put it to good use. And sure enough, darlings, well, I might as well use the one that I'm going to get the one out of the freezer, the one that I'm actually going to drink. This rather splendid Pinot Grigio here. Look, isn't that a lovely bottle? That chap there was on special offer at £7, right? So that's 42 quid for 6. Take 25% off that, that's £10.50. So that takes it down to £31.50. Divide that by 6, and that's £5.30, isn't it? So this beautiful Pinot Grigio, 12.5% ABV, came in at £5.30 for the bottle. So I'm going to call that an absolute win. So tonight, darlings, I can actually have a glass of wine that I rather enjoy. And when I say glass, I do, of course, mean bottle. I mean, what sort of Philistine opens a bottle and then doesn't finish it? Oh, it's just not done. A gentleman doesn't not finish a bottle of wine. And it also means that I can use my lovely gift from Trisha and her other half for the first time, actually. So here we go. Live uncorking with Boaty. My God, entertainment doesn't get any better than this, does it? Right, either the corkscrew is blunt or it's a hard cork. Well, get it in then. Make the effort. Bloody hell. Oh, this is going to end up corked at this rate. There we are. Now then, Barbara, and fling and out, and fling and out. Go on, really pop that chest out, Barbara. Sorry, that was a bit of a carry-on camping moment there. I know her name wasn't Barbara in the film. Oh, there's a quiz question for you. What was her name in the film? What was the name of the character played by Barbara Windsor in Carry On Camping? And I can't tell you if you're right or not, because I genuinely don't actually know it myself. I'll remember it when somebody tells me, but I don't remember it at the moment. I just remember that scene, with Kenneth Williams and fling, and it's the iconic scene, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm looking forward to this, darlings. Right, I better not pop that cork back in it, had I? So, where can I put this? I'll put it in there. That'll do. Right then, my little walnut whips. Up yours, your very good health. Oh God. Oh, that's in a different league to the that's in a different league to the crack. Oh gosh. Oh, that's lovely. That's just firing straight down the little red lane. It's just about reached here, and now it's starting to glow out around the old veranda over the pleasure gardens. Oh, that's very nice. Where did I get to? Oh, about there, wasn't it? Oh, how is Andy Pandy Boaty? Asked Jimmy. Good question, Jimmy. Um, well, it's all positive news, actually. I mean, watch tomorrow's Daily Diary video for the full picture, but oh, excuse me. I'm happy to give you a little bit of a heads up and an insight. So, I have not been idle when it comes to Project Andy Pandy. Yeah, I got straight to work. So, last night, straight away, did I tell you about the stereo shenanigans? I can't remember if I did or not. I assume I did. In fact, I'll just watch the video or I'll tell you about it later on. Because I can't remember what I told you last night. I've been asleep since then. Barry Sibley is with us and says hello. Hello to you, Barry. Another Barry. Lovely to have you with us. Chaz Brown is here. Good evening, Lord Boaty. The artist formerly known as Barry Scrotter. Hello, everyone, and Count Boaty. Oh, and Trisha, the lovely Trisha, provider of the magnificent corkscrew of bottle opening delight. Good evening, Trish. Hope you're well, my lovely. My day, says Trace, my daughter's 33rd birthday pish up in the local pub, so whoa! Salutations, your reverence, says Pingu Concord. How are you diddling? I'm diddling okay. I'm diddling okay. Hey, Skick says, she may be the reason Oh, I see. She may be the reason I survived, the why and wherefore I'm alive. Yeah, a bit of Charles Aznavour there from Skick, banging out the lyrics to She, which was, of course, later covered by, what's his face? Elvis Costello. It was in a film. Oh, God. Oh, was it Notting Hill? Was it Huge Rant? I know it was a Huge Rant film. And yeah, Elvis Costello covered that. Wasn't a bad cover, actually. Oh, there's a feature. I mean, I think it's an actual feature on the radio. I think, what's his name? The 120-year-old who does the rock show. What's his name? Johnny Walker. He's at least 120. I'm not convinced he's not actually dead. But he does a thing, this feature, I think. Name a cover that is better than the original. Name a cover song that's better than the original song, in your opinion. So I don't know why Skick is giving out the. Well, are they Charles Aznavour's lyrics, or are they a translation? Now, I genuinely don't know this. I know that she was Charles Aznavour, but I don't know if it was originally written in French or English. So I don't know if it was originally written and sung in English or whether that is a translation. I'll tell you what does sound better in the original language. 99 Red Balloons, Nena. Much better in the original German. 99 Luftballon. Loads better than the English. Feature number 2. What's your favourite song sung in a language other than English? I mean, for me, well, it would depend how you define song. I mean, my favourite music is opera. So all of my favourites would be operatic arias, which tend to be in Italian or Spanish. But in terms of popular songs in other languages, Joe Le Taxi, that's a belting number when you actually know what it's about. I did a video on this, didn't I? Explaining that it's not just a meaningless vehicle for a young bit of jailbait. It's actually a song with about a real person with a lot of meaning in the lyrics if you actually translate them. Again, 996, tricky chaps, German word. Luftballon, that's a brilliant pop song in the original language. What can you come up with? Not having breakfast is the worst start to the day, Mr. Boaty, says Barry. And I would kind of agree with that, Barry. As I say, my breakfast, dead straightforward, same every day, unless I'm in a hotel, in which case, it's the old full English, isn't it? But my standard breakfast is a glass of really good apple juice, none of that from concentrate crap, proper apple juice, a big old proper black coffee with demerara sugar, thank you very much, and one slice, only one slice, never more than one slice of toast with just the right amount of much too much butter on it. That's what I likes. And a slice of toast isn't much, but I don't half miss it when it's not there. And it wasn't there this morning because idiot Boaty here forgot that he'd run out of bread. I was going to have a Sam sandwich. I was going to have a Sam sandwich for lunch. I was going to have a ham sandwich for lunch. That went for a bleeding Burton as well, didn't it? Breadless Boaty, that's what they call me. Although I'm not breadless now, because when I bought the wine from Sainsbury's, I bought some bread as well. I'm like that. Have you house trained Andy Pandy yet? Oh, yeah, well, I didn't tell you about Andy Pandy, did I? Right, I can't remember what I told you last night, but you might not have been here last night. So, last night I ordered the harness adapter for the BMW wiring loom because Andy Pandy has got... Did I show it to you? This was a stereo in Andy Pandy, and as you can possibly see, for some reason, possibly somebody trying to get it out, it's smashed and buggered and just generally, in a very real and legally binding sense, not working. And it was just hanging out of the dash. Looked a nightmare. And obviously, I had no real way of knowing whether it wasn't working because the stereo had been nudged or whether the wiring had been nudged or something like that, or a fuse had blown or whatever. So what I did is yesterday I ordered, and I found out when I pulled the stereo out, I found out that it's not the normal ISO fitting, it's not the normal connector. It's got a BMW loom in there, which was a bit of a nuisance. So I ordered a harness adapter off Amazon, and amazingly arrived before 12 o'clock today. It arrived at like 11:30. So the plan was, Christ, that cork is tight. I want to put this in the freezer to properly chill it, but I can't get the cork back in, and I can't lie it down in the freezer because it's going to. I'll tell you what about if I do this? I'll put that there, and then that. Aha! That's done the trick, you see? Adopt, adapt, and improvise. Or if you prefer it in Latin, necessitas et mater inventum. Thank you very much. I'm rather proud of that. So with the harness adapter, I could put Stigbert's old stereo, which is a known quantity. I know that works. So I could plug that in and see if the stereo was working. And then if I know that it's working and all the wiring is okay, then I can just find a new stereo to put it in. And the good news was that the harness adapter came. I plugged it in. The stereo did work, so the wiring is absolutely fine. So he just needs a nice new posh stereo now, and the job will be a good one. I discovered that some genuine Rover factory rubber overmats that I had lying about, they actually came in. I'll tell you what they came in. They came in Johnny Crook, and I nicked them because I thought, well, they're genuine mats. I'm not selling the car with genuine mats in them. So I whipped them out. So I did. And I discovered that they're actually 45 mats or 400 mats. Anyway, they fit absolutely bob on in Andy Pandy, so that's another good thing. I've started cleaning him. Started giving him a proper wash outside. There's a lot of ingrained dirt on there. It's going to take quite a lot of effort. I've started detailing the interior. I tidied up a bit of the roof lining, but I didn't take him to work tonight because of the missing gramophone. I did one night without the gramophone last night. Tonight I took Sheeson. Also because with Sheeson coming off daily duties, I wanted to put some of the good petrol in him. I didn't want to leave Sheeson with the shit petrol lying about that allegedly can rot out the fuel lines and whatnot. So yeah, I've been in Sheeson tonight, but Andy Pandy is already looking better. The interior is going to come up quite nicely. Obviously, I need to sort the rear seats out, but just with a proper cleaned, or the beginning of a proper clean down and really detailed detailing of the surfaces inside, he's starting to look rather splendid. I think he's going to be a rather nice place to be, especially with a posh new gramophone in him. I tried to sort the aerial, and I've not been able to do that yet. The thready male part is well and truly rusted into the female part. So I've soaked that in penetrating oil. I tried budging it and it wasn't going anywhere. Didn't put too much pressure on, so I'm just going to snap off the base of the aerial. So soaked it in penetrating oil, and I'll get the mole clips on it again tomorrow and see if any joy with that. But Andy Pandy he's a good egg. He's a good egg. Where did I get to? Barry Scrotter has a question for Sean. Sean, can I ask why you have a crystal ball and where did it come from? I was watching earlier. Oh, Simone is here, hooked on classics. Hello, Simone. Boaty, I hate that when that get-up thing happens, say at 9:30 a.m. I could have done without it this morning. I had to go into town this afternoon, but I had nothing to do this morning. This morning was penciled in for a lie-in, and my body just wasn't having it, and I don't know why. Hey, right. Barry says Simone is the nicest person here, aside from his other friends. I assume that's Karen talking then. Jim says, I got married at 18 and I'm now 52. Still married, must be doing something right as my other half hasn't murdered me yet. Or indeed vice versa, Jim. Gosh, that was an early start. Goodness. Easy on the expensive wine, Boaty. You'll be having those strange, vivid dreams again. I bloody hope so. I love the strange, vivid dreams. Well, the one I had about Bernard, my God, that was fantastic. Oh, I wouldn't mind having that one again. Oh, Neil is here. Neil Gibbons, aka the Gibbinator, aka the very nice man. AA. Oh, yes. Who remembers when AA patrolmen had to salute you if they saw a member driving by? I love that. There should be more of that in the world. There should be there should be more saluting. Um, every AA patrol van should have to salute any AA member. I should have to salute any customer that I see outside of the restaurant. You lot should all salute me if you see me outside of a video, and I should also have to salute you. I'm all in favour of that sort of thing. Oh, and before I forget, a special thank you to Pingu Concord for making my vision of last night of a great big Captain Mustard with his arms outstretched at the entrance to the Yard of Dreams. He made that come true with a bit of cunning photo editing. So thank you, Pingu. That really brightened up my morning. Anyway, Neil says, hello all. How are we on this fine night? It's been a nice day, hasn't it? It's kind of crept up. I've not looked at the weather for a few days. And I was just out in it today and I thought, it's not cold, really. It's not cold at all. I know, I think I'll wash a car. I've been getting some grief in comments on my videos about the state of my car's wheels and saying, for God's sake, buy some wheel cleaner. Darlings, I have wheel cleaner. What I don't have is the willingness to go out in the middle of winter and clean the bloody things. That's why they're all filthy. But today, for the first time for about 4 months, I actually got my wash mitt out and some water. And I rather enjoyed it. So maybe spring really is here. Anyway, back to Neil, if you don't mind. I mean, Neil's made the effort to make a comment. The least I can do is to shut up and read it out. Well, actually, the least I could do would be nothing at all, but you know what I mean. Neil says, hello all. Oh, I've done that bit. How are we on this fine night? I've done that bit as well. I've had the day from hell. Oh dear. The trailer on my van has broken. Oh God. I feel like utter death with the lurgy, but I made it to the end of the day. Oh, Neil, I'd give you a hug. I'd give you a hug, you big, sexy man. Except that you're all full of lurgy and I don't want to catch it. Although, to be fair, I did give you a hug on Monday and Tuesday, didn't I? And I sat next to you and Soph in the back of a Land Rover Freelander 2. So, let's face it, I've already been more than close enough to both of you to catch it. I just hope I don't get gonorrhea like I did after our night in Rill. Joke. It was slandered, no. Joke. But I'm sorry you're feeling shitty, big guy. Hope you get over it soon. Barry says, me and Karen celebrate 10 years married on the 21st. Oh, well, congratulations in advance. Remind us a bit nearer and we will toast your decade of nuptial bliss. So we will. Neil, that lurgy is horrible, says Barry Scratter. If it's the one I had, it bloody is. Headlining done today, says Barry. I'm 95% happy with the way the job came out. I did see the pics, mate. Look good. Oh, matron, take them away. Oh, was that the line? Oh God, what? I'm still trying to remember her name. It wasn't Barbara, was it? I mean, I know her name. I know Barbara Windsor's name is Barbara. Was the character called Barbara as well? I can't think of any other name. But was that the Kenneth Williams line? Oh, matron, take them away. If it was, I've obviously not watched Carry On Camping recently enough. I might watch it tonight after this. But if that was the line, then it's an absolutely brilliant line. And it's exactly the line that I would use if I was confronted by a marauding, unmasked pair of oversized knockers. I'd go, God, take them away. I can't be doing with those. For those who don't know, I have, unlike the majority of men who are entranced by the larger boobie, as my regular viewers know only too well, I am I have a phobia of them and am somewhat traumatized by them. My weakness, I fully accept that, and I fully accept it makes me less of a man. But they, you know, the oversized marauding knocker just intimidates me, quite honestly. And I'm perfectly willing to accept that I don't feel enough of a man to deal with them. Uh, I I would barely know where to start. Um, well, I mean, it's not like I haven't ever come across such things, and quite honestly, and perhaps this isn't suitable content for a community live stream, but they take me out of my comfort zone, and I'm fully aware that that puts me on a different path than the majority of men. But oh God, no. And I'm not joking. I get genuinely, I'm genuinely massively intimidated by them. I mean, I'm intimidated by them when I meet them in a social situation before they're even unwrapped. I mean, when they're actually unwrapped and they're coming at you, and you're going to have to take some level of responsibility for them. Who's that? I don't get text messages at this time. Oh, catch up. Oh, am I behind on the comments? I'm being heckled. I'm being heckled by text message. Fair enough, I'll catch up. Right, better do what I'm told then, hadn't I? And catch up. Right, okay. Sonopod, says Buddy. I'm sure she played Barbara in the film, says Trace. Congrats when it comes to you and Karen. My other half's name is Karen too, says Jim. Hi, Neil. Sophie is here and waves. Filmed in the middle of winter was Carry On Camping. My God, was it? Hi all, how are you, Boaty, say Soph? I'm okay, knackered, but okay, Soph. How are you? You're the one who's been ill. So glad the corkscrew worked. We had never used it, says Trisha. It worked an absolute treat once I got it in, as the bishop said to the actress. And thank you very much again. That is a lifesaver. What is the Rover MPG? Asked Jimmy Quinn. Oh, narrow it down a bit, mate. Which Rover? Oh, Barbara was Babs. Oh, well, there you go. I wasn't making it up then. Hello, Mustard's here, but he's here as Mustard in the kitchen rather than Project Nigel. But it's our dear friend Captain Mustard, the Camp Damp Jesus, who will, in due course, when I win the lottery, will tower over the Yard of Dreams in the foothills of the Pennines with his arms outstretched, welcoming everybody. And really? Catch up. God, what have I missed? Somebody's keen. Bloody hell. Mind you, we have been going for 35 minutes, so I probably should have caught up by now, shouldn't I? Right, where did I get to? Have I missed a message there? Because that one doesn't make any sense. Right, that doesn't make any sense at all. Hang on. Right, either I'm going mad or all of the messages have jumped about. I'll try and make sense of them. I think we've arrived at it that it was Babs that Barbara Windsor played in Carry On Camping. Barry's happy with his headlining. That's good. Mustard's here. And then she went and says, also covered by the group Vegas, my personal favourite. Oh, I see. Now it makes sense. She by Vegas. Okay, I've never heard of Vegas, and I didn't know that they had covered the song She. Uh, Mustard is just editing the Mustard and the M&B video. Is that Mustard and Boaty, presumably? Skip gets a mention. Stephen S. Paul says, hello, boatman, and the rest of you. Skick's son is with us and says, evening, everyone. Good evening, son of Skick. La Bamba, says Barry. I love the movie with Lou Diamond Phillips. La Bamba, the original was by Richie Valens, and the only cover with which I'm familiar was Los Lobos, who had a kind of relatively minor hit with La Bamba in, God, when would it have been? Would it have been 87, 88? Los Lobos, La Bamba? Late 80s, anyway. I can't remember the exact year. But yeah, that's the La Bamba cover that I'm familiar with. Parabala La Bamba. Parabala La Bamba se necesitar una poca de gracia. Una poca de gracia fa mi fatia. Yariba, yariba. Ay, arriba, arriba, potisere, potisere, potisere. Bam, 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 bam. I'll tell you a funny thing about the restaurant. I mean, it might not be that funny, but I think it's a little bit funny. We serve a dish that is unique to us, and it's called la babda. La babda. Now, when the customers see it, they're not familiar with it because, to the best of my knowledge, I've never seen it offered in another restaurant. So it's not a name they're familiar with, like Jalfrezi or Madras or whatever. And more often than not, probably 70% of the time, the customer look at it and it's a lovely dish and it's proven very popular. It's probably one of our newest dishes, but my God, it's popular. But the customers call it Labrador. At the first attempt, they just see the letters and their brain says Labrador because they're not familiar with the. Yeah, I'll try the chicken Labrador, please, mate, with the garlic naan. They don't actually speak like that in Derbyshire, but then I'm not very good at doing a Derbyshire accent. So there you go. Don't text me and tell me to catch up again. I'm trying. I'm trying. But the funny bit was, the point was that when we introduced this dish, I said that there was a very famous Spanish song about it, and I started singing it. And it was La Bamba, but I'm singing La Babda. And I even played them a cover version of it. And because the pronunciation is a bit muffled, all of the Nepalese guys in the restaurant are convinced that there is a famous Spanish song called La Babda, which is okay, maybe it's not that funny. Maybe you kind of had to be there. Honestly, when you work in a restaurant where you are the only British person, I almost said English then, and my God, I'm not English. Dear God, the very thought, darlings. When you're the only British person, and 6 nights out of every 7, you're surrounded by people speaking a different language other than your own, and although you might pick up a bit of that language, you tend to be a little bit excluded from all of the niche innuendo and chat. You kind of have to make up your own humour. And believe me, I do. My Way, Elvis Presley, says Jimmy Quinn. God, I can't think of Elvis's My Way, but oh, you'd be going some to do a better version than old Blue Eyes, wouldn't you? Can we pause for a moment, says Andrew Buttigieg, and pay tribute to Frankie Howard? I'm always happy to pause and pay tribute to Frankie Howard, one of my favourite performers. Francis Alec Howard, to give him his genuine name. He had to change the spelling of his surname because there was already a Frank Howard registered with whatever it is that you have to register with when you become a performer. You're not allowed to have two with the same name. That's why sometimes performers end up with weird names, like David Williams. I mean, his name is David Williams, but there was already a David Williams, so he had to change it a bit. Same thing with Frankie Howard. But yeah, Frankie Howard would have been 107 today, bless him. And that meant that his toupee would have been 120. God, that was a dodgy old toupee, wasn't it? Hey? Uh, I used to love the glory days of the wigs and toupees. Good old Bruce's wig, Wogan's wig, Frankie Howard's wig. Dear oh dear. 99 Luftballons, love it, says Ivor Spotty Buddy. My Way by Sid Vicious. Oh, bloody hell. Uh, Boaty never has any bread, says Captain Mustard. Well, if you mean money, no, I never bloody do. Lacking in the dough department, I am absolutely. Skick's son says that Skick makes his own bread. Well, good for you, Skick. I would do. There's a reason I don't make my own bread. If I made my own freshly baked bread, then I would eat the entire loaf as soon as it was done with about 16 pounds of rich creamery butter. I cannot resist beautiful fresh bread. And so I've never made it myself because I know I would just plough through it. Wouldn't be able to stop myself. Neil says, are you sure it was you who took the CD player out? I seem to remember me doing something and you shouting over. Well, technically, Neil, I removed the CD player or tape player, cassette player, stereo. I removed it from the dashboard. What I wasn't able to do was to disconnect the doings. And that was when I shouted you over because it was a big man job. And yeah, you took over and did the rest of it. But I did. You can't deny, Neil, it was me what took it out of the dashboard. It was me what done it, Governor. But yeah, I freely confess that you separated the doings. But the good news is, Neil, that the harness adapter works and the wiring is fine. So there's going to be a wonderful gramophone in Andy Pandy. Can't beat proper apple juice, says Barry. And yeah, I agree with that. Oh, and Mustard has fixed the boot on Wet Leg. What, you pulled out the dent? Ah, well done you. I don't know whether... You see, now the thing is, I don't know whether I'm delighted that you've pulled out the dent or whether I'm annoyed by the fact that you didn't bother doing it for me. You've only done it when you owned the car. You were driving the sodding thing when it acquired the dent, and you could have done it a year ago. Bloody hell. Oh, no. Seriously, that's brilliant news. That's really good news. And I'm sure you'll all have seen Captain Mustard's video. And I honestly, we had a little late night message exchange last night. And I'm genuinely over the moon. I just couldn't be happier at seeing how much joy Mustard is taking in that car. It's exactly what I hoped would happen, and I honestly just couldn't be happier. I loved watching that video. I think it was two videos, unless I was dreaming last night. A video went up and then went down and then reappeared in a slightly different form. But I watched it at just the right time last night after last night's live stream with wine inside me, and I actually shed a little tear. Yes, a little tear rolled down the old trouser leg. So I'm so chuffed. And if you've got the dent out, well, that's brilliant as well. It just shows that the card is in the right place and in the right hands. Plus, you can drive it more comfortably than I can. One of the issues with Wet Leg, now, I don't know how many of you remember me going to collect Wet Leg. it would have been however long ago. It would have been, well, it would have been over a year ago, I think. And it was actually one of my favourite collection calamities or acquisition adventures, whatever you want to call it. Uh, and I had to go down because Wet Leg came from the Isle of Wight. That's why she's called Wet Leg. So I had to go down to Southampton or whatever it was to meet her off the ferry. So that was a long old train journey and some tubes across London. But if you've watched the video, you'll know that I didn't think I was going to be able to drive Wet Leg back. I couldn't fit in her, and I couldn't get my feet to operate on the pedals, and so on and so on. Now, when I had the dealership and I was driving ridiculous cars all the time, then I had the habit, but I'd obviously fallen out of it. And the thing with Wet Leg is you've got limited room. The steering wheel is fixed. It doesn't adjust up and down. So the wheel is jammed against my legs. And that means I can't get my leg up in order to get onto the brake and whatnot. And the first couple of miles of driving Wet Leg, I thought I physically can't drive this car. There's no way I'm going to be able to get her home. Of course, I managed, and I loved that journey home. I had the idea of, I knew that Wet Leg had a Bluetooth stereo in it. So I had the idea that I pre-arranged for a load of you guys, a load of viewers, to ring me on the way home. So it was a hell of a long journey. And I thought it would make good content and help keep me awake. So all the way home, I had a series of people ringing me. And we were having a chat. And that was fantastic. That was absolutely brilliant. I loved that, and I'd love to do that again. And I got used to the driving position, and now it's second nature. But I'm undeniably less comfortable in Wet Leg than I am in Minge Bag, which has got an adjustable steering wheel. And if I were to be totally honest, whilst I would be 99% sure or 99.5% sure of being able to wallop the brake in an emergency situation, there would always be the one time in 1,000 or whenever when I would be a little bit slow because there's not enough room and my foot would get caught and my leg would get caught, something of that nature. Whereas Mustard is a little bit smaller than me. Not much. I mean, he's a big lump of a man, but he fits into Wet Leg more comfortably than I do. So that's another good thing. Most traffic management firms, says Dan Peters, always put their orange beacons on when you see another firm. Well, I do anyway, and so do all of my colleagues. Karen. Karen, really? Well, this morning I don't particularly. Well, I mean, I would have. I mean, it's what happens, isn't it? It's an every morning thing. But this morning I didn't have any kind of saucy dream that inclined me to stay in bed, and I didn't have any company. Sadly, all I had was a body telling me to get up and make coffee, and that it didn't want to snooze. Bloody brilliant, that photo, Pingu, says Ivor. And Dan says, hello, Mr. Boaty. Hope you're well. How are you getting on with your Rover 45 diesel? I like the idea of a diesel 45. Early days, but all good so far. I hope the weather is kind tomorrow, says Simone. Oh, no ding pulling, say. Oh, God. Right, that might be a joke. Can I ask a question, Boaty asked John. Could you do a video of Stigbert giving it the beans just for me, as I love that car? I could do, John, but there's already a video up there of me doing exactly that. Not long after I first bought a Stigbert. In fact, there are 2 videos of me doing exactly that. but I'd be happy enough to do another one. There's no hardship in giving Stig but the beans. Oh. Good evening, Boaty, and good evening all, says Mark Passad. Oh, a message held for review. God, I'm not reading that out. Who's Sydney Sweeney? Dear, oh dear. Some of these messages are weird tonight, or I've just got everything backwards and I'm not reading them correctly. Oh dear. Oh, Sophie's had a day from hell. Been to sleep all day till, oh dear, really burning up. Oh, bless you, Soph. And yeah, you absolutely do have to get better for Friday and your new home. Captain Mustard says, Kenneth Williams didn't want to see the boobies because he was gay, a bit like you. Well, am I now fully gay, according to you, Mustard? Back in the day, you decided I was only 20% gay. I'm not gay, just because I wouldn't have a problem being gay. I wouldn't have a problem in the least. I really enjoy the company of gay men. I often prefer them to straight men, to be honest. I just happen not to be gay. I'd been a brilliant gay. Many of my gay friends have told me over the years that I'm a real loss to the gay community and I would have been a top of the range gay. And, like everything else, if I was, I'd have done it to the best of my ability. And like I say, I really enjoy their company. I'm just not even curious. I like women too much. And, oh God, I quite enjoy being 20% gay, having that here, but no, 0% gay here. But I wouldn't mind. I genuinely wouldn't have minded if I was. I've told you before, because I was so late losing my virginity, my mother was convinced that I was gay and she kept trying to get me to come out. It took me ages to convince her that I bloody wasn't. But then, of course, when I did get going, I was somewhat prolific, and so she soon changed her mind. Oh dear. She actually did that classic thing when I was still living at home of coming into my room in the morning, not realizing that I had company, and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, Donna, I didn't realize that you were here." Donna being the previous girlfriend, and of course it was a new one in there. That took some explaining away. Oh God, right. Ben is giving us a bit of Janet and John. Did you get something to eat? Says Janet. Yes, says John. I got a lovely big hamburger from Mrs. Dickens. Then I asked her for a bit of sauce. Oh dear. We need to start doing the Janet and Johns. I might put I did a time lapse of the drive to work tonight. I might put a Janet and John over it tomorrow. We need to bring back some of the Janet and Johns. They were the best thing that were ever on radio. And no, I didn't write any of them. Some people have thought that I did because I did write for Wogan, but no, not a thing. I've always been very honest about that. I didn't write any of the Janet and Johns, and I didn't write any of Chuffer Dandridge. They were very specific people. I just wrote all sorts of random crap. And if you've ever watched any of my videos over the last 2 years and found a random bit of Wogan playing over a bit of video that doesn't seem to relate to anything else, it'll be because it's one of the ones that I wrote. I have known my wife, says Jimmy Quinn, 48 years, and been married this year for 40 years. Gosh, congratulations. Oh, God, Ben's still going. Hang on, where did I get to? Yes, says John. I got a lovely big hamburger from Mrs. Dickens. Then I asked for a bit of sauce, and she told me to come round to the back of the van and palmed me off with relish. Then Melody Frontage said it might be a bit cold, but if I wanted, I could enjoy a wonderful display from her flat out on the heath tomorrow evening. Oh, Andy Pandy's MPG. I don't know, mate. I haven't tested it yet. I think the documented MPG is something like 38 urban, 60 at a constant 56, and 56 extra urban, something like that. Bloody good, anyway. I have been married, says Simone, 0 years. Oh, well. Think of all the grief you've managed to miss out on, Simone. How long was I married? Got married on my 36th birthday. I think I managed about 7 years. Oh, excuse me. I mean, there was no need for that, was there? Well done, Boaty, on the car cleaning. Thank you. Evening, all fellow bogs, says Ben. 87 or 88, says Irish Spotty. Los Lobos were actually quite big back in the day. Well, they were in every sense, weren't they? I mean, they were quite a big group, but they were also quite big chaps. Certainly the vocalist was a splendidly large fellow, and the lead guitarist wasn't tiny either. Chris Maguire is with us. Good evening. Married for 12 years now, says Barry Scrotter. Oh, thank you, Bad Books. Excellent reply to the dodgy TripAdvisor review. Put the silly chap in perfect perspective. Thank you, I appreciate that. Some of you might remember that on a live I told you about a horrendous TripAdvisor review the restaurant got, and I forced myself not to reply to it when I was drunk, and I replied to it the next day. And, you know, it's a good job I did do it when I was sober, because it was a bad enough it was a bad enough reply sober. God knows what it would have been like when I was drunk. But I've not heard a peep, Bad Books, from the alleged customer. So, you know, it's pretty obviously a bloody fake review, isn't it? And what I said in the reply is the absolute truth. You know, we're not perfect. We're humans. We make mistakes. But that restaurant has been going for 8 years. And from day one to tonight, same chef. We've had 2 or 3 different tandoor chefs, admittedly, but Ram has been chef from day one. And there's no way. And obviously all of the prep is done in the same way by the same team. The things that were described in that review were just absolutely impossible. There are certain things that we could get wrong, but you know, we could miss something out from an order. We could put the wrong dish in there, but we're never going to put out a bad main. That's just not possible, because Ram is like a machine. You know, when you cook the same dishes day in, day out over 8 years, it becomes automatic, almost metronomic. And obviously the all of the work is in the prep, and the prep is absolutely and utterly meticulous. And the finishing is pretty meticulous as well, because what I can tell you that 90% of the time, everything that goes on the pass, so that's everything that goes into the restaurant, everything that goes into the takeaway, nobody Nobody in that restaurant or any restaurant has got better eyes than me. I see everything. I miss nothing. Ask the guys at work; they will tell you. I miss absolutely nothing. And I watch every dish being prepared. I watch all of the prep. I watch every dish being served. I watch it being plated. Often I will plate it or serve it myself. You know, the kind of things that were going on in that review, it's just not possible. So, yeah, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. Bad books, thank you very much. Oh, no, you daft bugger, says Captain Mustard. I've fixed it so it closes without slamming it. Well, I never slammed it. If you slam it, it won't close. The trick to closing it was to just hold it down and then just softly press. It was when you slammed it, it didn't work. But oh well, I'm glad you fixed it anyway. Oh, Ben's coming out with some classic Frankie Howard lines. I feel limp. Don't laugh. It's wicked to mock the afflicted. Oh no, I feel like I should be in bed. Anyone? I loved all of those lines. I love Frankie Howard. Absolutely love him. Oh dear. Getting close to 50 watches, say Skip. Pretty good for the time. Must be glad the channel is doing well. I'll be glad when it does even better, Skip. But yeah, I'm incredibly grateful for the indulgence that I get from all of you wonderful people. HW100 is with us and says, "Good evening, Boaty." God, look at the time. It's past time that I went. I will get through all of the comments. Remember, tomorrow's going to be mad. I'm going to be well rested. I'm going to have had loads of sleep. Tomorrow, we're going vertical, and tomorrow, anything goes. We're going to have a night of absolute shithousery. And if anybody not in our normal community circle does venture on because we're vertical, then have at them. Have at them. Go mad. Especially if they come out with any of the silly comments that we've seen on other live streams. We'll have a bit of fun tomorrow night, darling. Thursday night, live and vertical. Oh yeah. Ben says, I remember Rob banging Beards and Bangers, and Bernard being on the blower in Wetty, so to speak. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Helen and Tracy and Matt. Um, gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember who else. I loved that. I loved doing that. You know, I'd love to do something like that again. I'd love to do a long journey and have you guys joining me on the on the phone on the old Bluetooth. But I'd love even more to meet you in person. Wet leg. Oh no, I did buy Mrs. Scrotter, says Barry, a bread maker a couple of years ago. Hasn't been used for a while. The bread was quite nice. Yeah, but I would just eat and eat and eat. Carbohydrates are my downfall, darlings, as you can see, dear me. Um, and I would literally eat an entire loaf of bread if it was there, and if it was the nice stuff. And I'd have 16 pounds of butter with it as well. Wet leg is definitely suited to me, says Mustard. The steering wheel is a bit in the wrong place, but it's a cracking drive. It certainly is. And you're probably 47% gay these days. And you don't like real women, mate. Right, Mustard's got this thing that because I'm not into the larger lady, that means I'm not into real women. You can't say that. You're being size phobic against. Look, you know, your preferences tend to stay with you, don't they? Right. You got to bear in mind that okay, I'm a fat old toothless loser now. But you got to remember that I was a professional athlete, and I think it's pretty natural that I would be drawn to people similar, ladies similar to myself. I've always been drawn towards a lithe, slender, athletic lady with non-intimidatory boobies. And that hasn't changed. I don't know whether it's purely a visual thing. Maybe it's a psychological thing as well. Maybe, if you're an active person, as I'm not now, but, if you're an athlete, then maybe subconsciously you want a partner who would be capable of doing things like that with you. I don't know, but it's always been the same way. I've always had a type. Not everybody has, and that's great. But I've always had a type. I've always gone for. I've always gone for brunettes, slim, non-intimidatory, busty substances. Ideally tall. Although I have been, God, I mean, Boo was tiny. Two of the three Chinese madams were tiny, so height was never that much of an issue. But yeah, slender, brunette. You look so happy driving your MGF, Paul, says Jimmy. And yeah, didn't he? It was lovely. Gay pride for the win, says Barry. I don't see the appeal. I won't repeat what Barry just said. Well, the thing is, if you're not, then you won't see the appeal, will you? I mean, I don't understand. I'm straight, so obviously I don't understand the appeal of a man. Um, but that's not a gay thing. I don't understand what women see in men either. I mean, men are awful, dreadful creatures. But but there we are. There we are. If you're not in that, if you're not in that preference range, and of course you're not going to understand what other people see into it. Bad Book says Boaty's not into his Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Well, that's not strictly true, is it, Bad Books? Because it depends who the Chocolate Factory belongs to. Because it's no secret that I'm a big fan of a lap or two around the Chocolate Speedway with a lady, just not with a chap. What would you say is the greatest driving Rover or MG? A proper driver's card, asked Dan Peters. MGF? MGF or MGTF? It's got everything. It's mid-engined, which is where the engine should be for optimum weight balance and handling. It's rear-wheel drive, which is where a real driver needs the drive to be, and that's it. That's all you need. You can't compare anything else with a mid-engined rear-wheel drive car in terms of ultimate driving. Now, obviously, you can get a lot more power and a lot more speed, but the sensation remains the same. So, in the MG Rover field, I would say that the best driving car, in terms of a proper driver's car, it's got to be an MGF or an MGTF. I can't think of anything else. We have to head out, says Karen or Barry. I'm not sure which one it is now, but take care, everyone. Take care of yourself. I hear you're a gay father now in the Windy Bottom Diocese now, Father Boaty says. Ben, God. The handover clip of the two cars had me in stitches, says Jim. Yeah, that was funny. We're all saying good night to Barry and Karen. Staff curry on Monday, asks Mustard. What, my staff curry? Oh, gosh. Well, the thing is with that, Mustard, is that if we have staff curry, it's not a treat for me. And I have staff curry on a Monday night. So no staff cutting on Monday. Istanbul or international chippy or whatever. That's my takeaway treat. However, I will bring some staff curry for you if you would like some, and you can enjoy it in the comfort of your own bungalow. I'll have a word with Ram, and we'll whisk some up for you. Oh, I won't be here to throw shade on the hateful vertical filming, says Simone. I need to get up early on Friday. Uh, oh yeah, come to the arts kick. I agree with Mustard. Come and have some staff curry with us. It'll be interesting to see Karen deconstruct random numpties on a vertical live. I'm quite looking forward to that. Skick on a lunch vid. I would love that. I'm on Mustard's side with the ladies with the ample bosoms. Sorry, Boaty. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Who's the most athletic, Mustard or Boaty? Well, now you. But historically, me, obviously. Although, I mean, you say athletic. If we were on bicycles, then obviously. And I have noticed that I do walk quicker than you. He'll deny that now. And the next time we walk to the chip shop or something, it'll be a race you watch. Yes, big boobies are always a treat, says Paddy Scrotter. You see what I mean? I think it's time to release that video. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe it is. Oh dear. Oh God. I haven't watched it for probably a year or close to a year. It must be close on a year ago that we filmed that. It was quite touching in a way, as I recall. More athletic, says Ben. Boaty edges it with the side shuffle and ram. Yeah, except I fell off. Was that the last time I tried it? Or oh no, I have deployed it since. And I didn't fall off. But that was in the comfort of my own bed, where I know where I'm side shuffling to. You try side shuffling on a strange bed when you're absolutely drunk and you're mounting an unknown Liverpudlian in a travelodge in North Wales. It's not an easy thing. Oh God. I'm glad you all remember that because it does make me giggle. Depends on the definition of athletic, yeah. Oh, and I've caught up. Oh my God. I've actually caught up. Have you seen Matt's latest video on Hippo? He nearly set it on fire. No, I haven't. I have a spare bike, says Mustard. We could do a ride. Yeah, no, I'm not riding one of those bikes. I'm not getting one of them. Slip sliding away. Oh God, it's awfully late, darlings, and I'm so tired. It's been fun tonight. Thank you to you all for joining me. I am gonna. The wine is really kicking in. I need to get something to eat, and I need to hit the sack. I am more tired than I can even begin to tell you. But do watch tomorrow's Daily Diary, or if you're not a channel member, watch today's Daily Diary, which is the car swap one, I think. I get confused by them. But it's all exciting stuff at the moment, isn't it? And there we are. Last one to the chippy page. Well, there you are. Let's add a competitive element to it. Darlings, I am absolutely fucked. So I'm going to bugger off, get something to eat, go to bed, and roll on tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your company. Thank you for bearing with me tonight. Thank you for texting me and telling me to catch up with the bloody comments. And please do join me tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, Thursday night, live and vertical. I mean, it's sod's law that because the YouTube algorithm hates me, we won't pick up anybody new. But if we do, won't it be good fun? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was a bit of a damn squib, wasn't it? Oh dear. Do a like, everyone. Oh, well, that would be jolly kind of you. And 21 of you have done exactly that. And there are still 29 of you watching you. Oh, good night, John. Thank you for that. Keep that chin up, mate, as best as you can. I know it's so difficult, but yeah, please do join me tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, Thursday night, live and vertical. Have a safe and peaceful night. Stay warm. It's not that cold now, is it? Happy days, car washing days, all good. Don't know what I'm talking about now. I'm just blathering nonsense. The wine has properly kicked in. 12.5% ABV. Thank you very much. And speaking of staff curry, I've got that for supper. Who's texting me now? Oh, and good night to you. Thank you, mate. Darlings, I love you all massively. I'm so grateful for your company. And see you tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. Take great care of yourselves. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day you can tomorrow. Much love from me. But you, oh, and indeed. Oh, did you not? Bosh.